Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, don't go away. You're listening to Broader View. We'll be right back after this.
Are you looking for something new? Find it at Club Onyx every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. 2 whole hours of dance music hosted by DJ 3. Right here on the Hazy Radio Network. See you there.
Everyone, Scott Grossberg of ThinkingMagically.com, and it's time for us to spend another magic moment here together on the Hazy Radio Network. Often when I tell someone, just get over it, I receive questions about how to do that in the real world, especially when that involves getting over fear. Some people, as you know, are so immobilized by their summoned anxiety and imagined horrors that they can't move past their worst-case thinking patterns. Fear, however, is all about something that doesn't exist in the now. For the most part, you aren't scared of what is happening now. People become terror-struck by what might happen in the future. It is this dreadful wishing, this focus on a fictional harm, that you need to banish early and often. Now, for those of you listening who have become experts at finding horror-filled problems and devil-laden worries, I know your fears all revolve around happenings that are plausible to you. But in most cases, your fears actually defy your real-world experience. Or, to put it another way, most of the time, your fears don't actually represent what will happen. While you are attempting to avoid future pain and unpleasantness, you stop living the empowering life that you could just as easily have. So what's the solution? Be honest with yourself. Start by imagining each one of your fears as if it was coming true in the present, and start dividing those horrors into 2 realms. First, the things that you can deal with when and if they happen, and second, the things that you cannot deal with at any time, no matter what. When you really consider the first item, you begin to see that in most cases, you can indeed manage and attend to anything in the present. It is your fear of the future, your imagining of things that haven't even happened, that tricks you and gains unnecessary power over you. The skill in banishing unempowering fears, then, lies in learning to recognize those threats that really deserve your attention, and those that are nothing more than a treacherous blend and inaccurate reimagining of the known and the unknown. Once you take the step of broadly categorizing your fears into those that can be handled and those which cannot be, you start to see the flawed assumptions you have made. Most of the fears that you experience stop having the same power over you because you now realize you can handle nearly anything. I look forward to spending more magic moments with you next week. Until then, feel free to contact me through my website, ThinkingMagically.com, Facebook, Google+, or LinkedIn, and I will respond personally to your posts.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor. Because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
Whatever your worldview is, there's always the broader view with Hazy and Belle Salisbury. Let's get back to the show.
And welcome back to the Broader View with your host, Hazy, and my co-host, Belle Salisbury. And with us, we have another special guest with us. And again, whenever we put these shows together, it isn't formatted in a certain way, but this show is certainly formatting into something pretty gosh darn special, and I'm really excited about it. With me, we have our guest, Eli.Chiaviello.
Yes.
Was that close? He is born in Ohio, where he attended Ohio State University before returning to California. An administrative professional for over 20 years, Eli has worked in sidewalk food vending, information technology, copy editing, and biomedical research. For the past 15 years, he has been an assistant to the founder of the Hope Heart Institute, pioneering heart surgeon Lester Savage. In his spare time, Eli enjoys backpacking and well-told stories. Eli, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Zita. It's good to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, tonight we're going to talk about a book that you were co-editor with, a very important book as far as I'm concerned. The book is called Open Your Heart to the Magic of Love. To kind of go back into all this, and you're representing Dr. Savage for us.
Yes, I'm sorry, it's Savage. Yes.
Savage, okay. I know some with the same spelling, and it's pronounced Savage, so it's Savage. How did you meet Dr. Savage?
Well, it's funny. I had I did temporary office work, temporary administrative work for about 6 years. And then in April of 1998, I got a 3-day temporary assignment to go to the Hope Heart Institute to give them some clerical backup. And I've been there ever since. Dr. Savage is the founder of the Hope Heart Institute. And though he retired from clinical practice in 91, he continued on as medical director of the Hope Heart Institute for years after that. And then even after he was technically retired from that position, he continued to work 12-hour days. And he and I just clicked.
To me, he sounds like, and reading a little bit about him, this is one incredible man with his own incredible journey. And the things that he has done in his life and the things that have occurred to him in his life really makes this book even more profound. It really takes him to a whole different level. How did he come about writing this book?
Well, portions of it saw a print in a slightly different form in one of his previous books, The Open Heart, which is primarily the biographies of 10 of his former heart surgery patients. But after, essentially, after he was no longer involved in treating patients and actively doing research at the bench level, Dr. Savage, he couldn't stop helping people, and he figured that the best way that he could continue to help people is to try to spread the message that he gave to his patients one-on-one to a larger audience.
Mm-hmm.
And that message is simply that to live well in a medical context or in a personal context, you need to have a sort of a purpose in your life.
Right.
And so this book is an attempt to help people find purpose and happiness.
That really sums it up. It really does. And what I think was so fascinating about the book, too, and beautiful about the book, is that he takes his own experiences and he takes them. It's a different side of a physician that you would normally see. Many physicians are very stoic and are very almost clinical, where he really expresses his heart in this. I mean, there is information here that really can heal you, not only physically, but emotionally and mentally at
Absolutely.
the same time.
And that's what Dr. Savage discovered through the course of his practice as a cardiothoracic surgeon, was that in order to get the best clinical results for his patients, he had to provide them with care for their entire self, which is not just physical but mental and spiritual as well. People who have a positive attitude and good expectations and a purpose in their life tend to do better, Dr. Savage found, clinically after their surgeries than people who are sad or depressed or pessimistic or don't necessarily have a good answer to why they want to have their life extended through surgery.
Mm-hmm. You know, because more times than not, and not that I have been in the hospital, but I mean I've had experiences with people who have been in a hospital and haven't gone through life-changing physical ailments or surgery or illnesses, where the doctors and the physicians forget